Now children, we need to talk about the next topic related to money supply, that is measures of money supply in India. Children, in India, RBI of India, that is Central Bank of our country, RBI, uses four measures of money supply, which are M1, M2, M3 and M4. Broadly, these measures differ from each other in terms of different degrees of liquidity. That is, however easily an asset can be converted into cash. Liquidity means how easily an asset can be converted into cash, and the rate of return or interest rate. These four measures of money supply are defined below. You can see this in the slide. The first measure is M1, second is M2, third is M3 and the last is M4. Children, you need to learn the formula of all these variables, and this is very important topic, right? So it is written in the slide. You can see once again the RBI has evolved four measures of money supply denoted as M1, M2, M3, M4, and they are as follows. So we'll discuss all in detail. So we'll first talk about M1. M1 is what? M1 is currency, notes and coins with the public, which is denoted by C, plus demand deposits with the bank, which is denoted by OD, and other deposits with RBI. Right, children? So the formula here will be, when you will be going through your book, you will be finding that M1 is equals to C plus DD plus OD. I repeat, children, C stands for currency, notes and coins with the public, DD stands for demand deposits with the bank, and OD refers to other deposits with RBI. You can see this written in the slide. RBI currency notes with the public plus small coins will be C. Demand deposits with bank, that is DD, and other deposits with RBI will be OD. So the formula will be C plus DD plus OD. Right, children? So you will be writing in the short form, as well as you have to write what does DD stand for, what does OD stand for, and what does C stand for. So this was the formula for M1. I repeat, M1 is equal to C plus DD plus OD. Right, children? Coming to second variable, that is M2. Second component, that is M2. M2 is M1 plus saving deposits with post office saving bank. That is, you can see this in the slide also, it is written M1. That is, we will be taking all the components of M1, but we won't be writing it again. We will be just writing M1 plus saving deposits with post office saving bank. And in short form, post office saving deposit is denoted by SD. So the formula here becomes M1 plus SD, right? Coming to the third component, that is M3. M3 will be M1 plus time deposits with the bank. That is denoted by TD. So the formula here will be M3 is equals to M1 plus TD, right? Coming to M4. M4 will be M3 plus all post office deposits, savings and time. We take both the values here, right, children? So M3 plus total deposit with post office saving organization, and we don't include the values of NSC. So it is written, and you will be writing even in the formula, that excluding the value of NSC. And total deposit with post office savings will be mentioned by TDP. So the formula in short will be M3 plus TDP. Right, children? So these were the four components which are evolved by RBI to measure money supply in India. Right, children? You will be learning all the four formulas. Children, you can see the same concept. I have made a flow chart so that you can easily understand. M1 is currency plus DD plus other deposit. M2 is M1 plus deposit with post office saving account. M3 is M1 plus time deposits with bank. And M4 is M3 plus TDP. And it is written minus NSC. Minus NSC, that means you won't be taking up the values of national saving certificates. Okay. Now, children, there is one more variable which has been recently introduced by RBI, that is M0. And it is also known as high powered money, right? So you can see this in the slide. It is written currency in circulation and in the bank wallets. It is also called monetary base, the base from which other forms of money are created. A measure of money supply which combines any liquid or cash assets held within the central bank and the amount of physical currency circulating in the economy. Children, M1 is narrow money. M1 is C plus DD plus OD. So it is also known as narrow money. Okay, children. Coming to all the three variables, once again you can see M1, M2, M3 are all the measures of money supply, the amount of money in circulation at a given time. M1 is also known as narrow money, I told you. M2 is somehow broader measure of money supply because it includes all the values of M1 plus saving and time deposits held with the bank. M3 is even a broader measure of money supply which includes all the values of M2 plus large denominations like long-term finances and long-term time payments, right? Now children, we will be coming to the next important topic related to money supply, that is high part money, about which we have discussed right now, and it is denoted by M0. Children, high part money is what? When we talk about high part money, the overall supply of money ultimately depends upon the amount of central bank, that is money issued by the central bank. The central bank money is sometimes called high part money and it is also known as monetary base. It consists of currency, notes and coins held by the public and the deposit held by the bank as a reserve with the central bank. The part of currency held by the public forms a part of money supply. The currency in the bank wallets and the deposits with the central banks are used as a reserve backing people's deposit at bank. Children, the central bank has direct control over the high part money. The term monetary base reflects the fact that overall money supply depends ultimately on the base, that is the amount issued by the central bank. The monetary base is referred to the high part money. Why? Because the monetary base has a multiplied effect on money supply. The term high part reflects the fact that increase in the central bank money leads to more than one increase in overall money supply and is therefore known as high part. Thus children, high part money is the form of deposit, bank money, which is being circulated by the RBI basically, right children? So we can say in short that high part money consists of currency held by the public and the banks and the deposit held by the banks as a reserve with the central bank. Now children, you can see the formula: monetary liabilities of RBI plus government money, that is currency with the public plus reserve plus other deposits with RBI, is plus wallet money plus all the statutory reserves and excess reserves, right children? If you are not able to learn this formula, you just learn the meaning at least, okay? Now children, we will be talking here about some important topics related to this chapter, okay? Maybe I think that you must be finding few topics difficult to understand, that is what is legal tender, what is unlimited legal tender, what is limited legal tender, what is token money. So I am telling you these topics separately. So we are here discussing about some other topics related to this chapter. Now children, the first topic which I think that you must be finding difficult is token money. Children, I told you token money, it's that money whose face value is higher than the intrinsic value and it is generally limited legal tender money, right children? So token money is that part of the money. So children, token money is that money the face value of which is higher than the intrinsic or the metallic value. Coins are useful for making transactions of small value. So the currency note refers to the paper money, okay, and token money refers to the coins whose money the face value of which is higher than that of intrinsic value, right children? For example, you see the coins of 50 paisa, 1 rupee coin, 2 rupees coin, 10 rupees coins. Yes, their face value is higher, but their intrinsic value, that is the metallic value, is low, right children? Now the second topic which I want you to know about is banknote. Banknote is a promissory note issued by the bank and payable without tax on request to the bearer and acceptable as the cash, right children? You all know about banknotes. Next, paper money. Children, regarding paper money, you need to know about representative paper money, convertible paper money and fiat paper money, okay? A few of you were asking about this also. So representative paper money, it is the money which is fully backed and equivalent to metallic reserves. Convertible paper money, which is convertible into coins on demand, okay? And fiat money, which is not remittable or convertible into gold and silver on demand. It is accepted because it is declared legal tender by the issuing authority, that is by the government, and has general acceptance as a medium of exchange. And the intrinsic value of fiat money is nil. There is no intrinsic value, only the face value is there. Like if you see even a note of 500 rupees, these days 500 rupees you can see, and similarly if you see even a note of 2000 rupees, maybe the paper of which these two currencies are being made are of same quality, so but their extrinsic value is different. If it is written 500, it will be used as 500. If it is written 2000, it will be used as 2000. But their metallic value, or the metal or the paper through which it is has been prepared, that is different, right children? Now, the last concept is fiat money. Children, fiat money, I told you in detail that fiat money is that money which is issued as a legal tender by the government. Right, children? Children, fiat word itself means order. Okay, so any currency which is issued on the order of the government is called fiat money. Now the children, the next term which I want you to know, and many of you were asking me also, that what is legal tender and what is non-legal tender. So children, legal tender is that, and each and every currency which is issued by the central bank, people have trust on that, and limited and unlimited legal money. Fine. And non-legal tender money is not generally accepted. It is optional money because it is in the form of check or ATM card. Like suppose if somebody is giving you payment through check, you can deny taking the payment. You can deny from taking the payment. Why? Because suppose if you are not trusting that man, you can't take the payment. But if someone is giving you cash and those notes are original, then definitely you can't deny, and even if you say no to those currencies, the person can file a case against you. So the paper currency notes and coins are legal tender, and check, draft, ATM card, debit card, these all are non-legal tender money. Right children? Now legal tender and non-legal tender is limited legal tender and unlimited legal tender. So limited legal tender money is that which a creditor has accepted in settlement of claims up to a certain limit only, right? And unlimited legal tender money is the terms in which a debt can be legally paid up to any amount. There is no upper limit of accepting the payment in the form of that particular currency, right? Children, basically limited legal tender is that money which is accepted as a legal tender only up to a certain maximum amount. It cannot be forced upon the people beyond that limit. In India, coins of small denominations like 5, 10, 20, 25 paisa, I am talking about the paisa coin, right? Of the small denominations are legal tender only up to rupees 25. That is, you can force a person to accept the payment till rupees 25. However, they have been taken out of the circulation now, but a person may refuse to accept it beyond that rupees 25 limit. And what is unlimited legal tender? Unlimited legal tender, on the other hand, is the money which a person has to accept without any maximum limit. In our country, currency notes of all denomination and the coins of 50 paisa and of higher denominations are unlimited legal tender. Suppose if you pay someone in the denomination of rupee 1 coin, you are making a payment of rupees 10,000. A person will be finding it difficult to make the payment, but a person who is accepting the payment can't refuse it. Fine. So this currency is known as unlimited legal money. Right children? So with this we come to end of chapter number 13, that is money. So children, you will be preparing this much, and after listening to these two videos, you will be doing assignment and you will be sending me the picture of that on my personal WhatsApp number. Right children? Thank you so much. That's all for today.